Hey everyone, my name is Samarth and I am making this video to share you my F1 visa interview experience which I had at Hyderabad consulate at 9:45 a.m. So my main motto of making this video is to help you guys figure out what actually is happening since a new social media vetting rule has been implemented for all F, M and J visa categories. What all you need to do, can you avoid getting a 221G while your visa has been approved. So I'll be sharing my every tip and my own experience when I went through this whole process, how it looks like, and what are things that you need to take care about. So let's begin. So I had my interview at 9:45 a.m. My time slot was 9:45 a.m. and I reached the consulate around 8:45 a.m., just an hour before my interview slot. And I would recommend every applicant to do the same. I mean, you could still reach 2 hours before, but there's a probability that you won't be let in because your time slot has not yet been announced. So you might need to stand outside the consulate. So I would recommend you either to come 1 or at max 1.5 hours before your interview. And just get into the line. In the beginning, they will ask you to show the appointment confirmation page. Once you show them your appointment confirmation page, they will let you inside the consulate. As soon as you enter the consulate, you will see a really, really big line. I mean, it consists of more than probably 150 people, like maybe more. I couldn't count, of course. So yeah, you'll be met with these lines. Once you cross the line and enter inside the security chamber, I'm talking this specifically about Hyderabad consulate. I don't know what's the experience like at other consulates. I'm particularly talking about Hyderabad consulate where I had my interview. So when you enter inside this security chamber, you would be asked to remove your belt, watch, anything that you have in your pocket. You need to empty your pocket completely. You will be given a tray to keep all your belongings, and it will be passed through a scanner. And once it's scanned and there's nothing suspicious, you'll be allowed to wear your belt and join another line. So now this is the second line, which will be leading you to the main consulate where all the visa interviews are being conducted. So you'll stand in line for, let's say, about 20 to 30 minutes, and then you will finally enter inside the main consulate. But before you do so, you'll be announced if you are going for your F1 visa interview or for your student visa. You'll be asked to remove your I-20 passport and DS-160 confirmation page, also your service ID. So they might check it. Sometimes they just don't check it and they just let you in. But yeah, this is a process, and this is something that they announce it loudly so that everyone standing in the queue could actually hear it. So once it's all done, you enter inside the main consulate. So inside the consulate, there were like 42 counters or something. So in that 42 counters, I think the visa interview was being conducted from counter number 12 to counter number, I guess, 38 or something. I just don't remember correctly. So yeah. So the interview was being conducted around these counters. You'll be made sure to stand in a line where some documents are being checked. And once everything is done, they will let you inside. I mean, you are, of course, inside already, but you'll be made sure to stand. You'll be made to stand in the counter where interview is being conducted. So there are like only 5 people in one counter. So if it's a counter, only 5 people are made to stand in front of it where the interview is being conducted. So now it was my turn to stand in front of the counter, and a person randomly assigned me a counter, and I stood there. And this was really, I would say, I was really nervous at this point because I was able to hear what interview questions were being asked to the applicant, because you could easily hear it because the interview is just being conducted just 5 meters away from you. So I was clearly able to hear what questions were being asked and what the how the interviewee is actually answering those questions. So I was a bit nervous, but also at the same time, I was like, okay, I'm really confident I could answer these questions easily. And so I was like, okay, I just kept smiling because it's important to smile when you're having your visa interview because it just kills your fear from inside and you lose your nervousness during this process. So I was okay. I was a bit confident now. And now it was my turn. Okay, before telling you about how my interview experience was, there were like two people who were just beside me and they got rejected by just, I think the officer only asked like two questions and he rejected them. I don't know the reasons. I couldn't hear their answers properly, so I couldn't figure out what their reason was because for the rejection. But yeah, this was experience before I interviewed. So now it's my turn. I go to the officer and I greeted the officer with a good morning with a smile on my face. And the officer looked at me and the officer also smiled and said, "Good morning, please pass me your passport and I-20." I was holding it handedly, so I just passed my I-20 and passport and the visa officer took in. So the first question that the officer asked me was, why this college? So I answered it like I chose this college because of its tight-knit community. It also has a dedicated computer science curriculum. While I was about to say this sentence, the visa officer just stopped me and interrupted me and said, okay, wait. Why did you choose to do your bachelor's instead of master's? So most of the students who go for the US F1 visa interview, they go for their master's because it's less expensive because it's only for 2 years as compared to 4 years for your bachelor's. So they just prefer that. So the visa officer asked me, and this was a question that it wasn't even mine that the officer would ask me this question because it was such a generic question. I mean, why would someone even ask, why are you going for this education level and why not this education level? So I was like, okay, let me think for a second. And I was thinking, what should I answer? And all of this was happening within a millisecond. So I didn't take any gap between when the officer asked me this question and I just, told them the answer. So I think it was even less than 0.5 milliseconds of latency that I just started to say something. So I answered it like, officer, I wanted to have an international exposure. I wanted to be around diverse communities and wanted to explore different culture and simultaneously also share my own culture with them. So I was about to say this and yeah, I said this sentence and I think it's not completely exactly what I actually said because I don't remember completely. It's not accurate, but it's almost, I would say with, I think it was 90 to 95% of what I actually mentioned in my answer when the officer asked me, because it was a sudden question and I framed all the sentences in my head at the time. So yeah, I told this to the visa officer and the visa officer nodded, and then came the next question. No, it didn't came. So the officer didn't ask me any questions. Now the visa officer was just listening to what I was saying, what I was answering for this question. And the visa officer, I think, looked down on my funding section that's mentioned in my I-20. And the visa officer said, "Oh, I see that you have got a really good scholarship," and looked at me. And I said, "Yes, ma'am, I did get a really good scholarship." And the visa officer said, "Okay, that's really great." So then came the next question, which was, who is sponsoring you? So I answered that my parents, and I was about to answer also my grandparents, but the visa officer again interrupted me and said, "Okay, I'm temporarily refusing your visa." So when I heard these three words, I was so shocked. I was like, what did I do wrong? I had all these points in my mind. If the visa officer asked me, I could communicate the reasons for why I chose this college, to who is funding me, to many different things. So I had collected so much information to answer all of my questions perfectly. So so that I could provide a concise answer. So I did this and I heard that I'm temporarily refusing a visa. But then the officer said, "I'm temporarily refusing your visa for administrative processing. Make sure to turn all of your social media accounts public." So I heard this. I was like, okay, it's not bad. It's something I think most people were experiencing experiencing the same around me who got approved. And when the visa officer said that, I looked at the visa officer, and the visa officer looked at me and said, okay, pass me your DS-160 confirmation page. And I passed it. That's when I got to know that, okay, so I think I am approved, but it's going under administrative processing, which just basically means that my social media handles will be checked by the officer to see if there's any posts that I have made against the US government or towards any terrorist organization. So I was like, okay, this is a really good sign of something happening in a positive direction. So I gave my DS-160 confirmation page, and as soon as I gave it, I was thanking the visa officer and I was telling, thank you so much, ma'am. And I passed my DS-160 confirmation page. So as soon as I passed my DS-160 confirmation page, the officer printed a white sheet, which is a 221G white sheet, and which I will show you here. So the officer passed me this. So the reason why I have tampered with this area is because the officer mentions your case number, which is a special unique number that has been assigned to you, to your application. So it's not personal, it's confidential. So I just covered it. So the officer gave me this white 221G slip, which is like this. It includes the information about why your visa has been refused. And here they have mentioned that ensure social media is set to public. So every person who was who was temporarily refused on that day at Hyderabad consulate received this 221G information slip. So it means that your visa is being temporarily refused. So it's not a rejection. It's a really good sign that your visa will be approved within some couple of days. So as soon as I got this, the officer returned my passport. I took my passport and this 221G slip, and I just flew away from the consulate, and I came out of the consulate. My parents were waiting for me. I just went to them and explained everything what just happened, and I told them everything about what the situation was inside the consulate, how the people were having their experience, and are they being issued their visa or mostly rejection. To my personal experience, most of the candidates were actually being rejected. Not to scare you, just to mention that at least, if I say 100 people were going in for that interview, I think there were only 50 or maybe less students that were actually being refused and maybe accepted in the future. So I got this and I came back from the consulate to my hotel. And as soon as I came back to my room, I checked my visa status using my DS-160 confirmation page on CEAC application tracker or application status, where you can actually type in your DS-160 confirmation number, and you see your status, and it showed refused. The case was updated on the same day as in which I had my interview, and it was refused. So this refused status continued till July 18th, when I actually received an email from the consulate stating that we are now requesting you to please submit your passport back to any VSC, which is a visa application center in India, so that we can move further with issuing your non-immigrant visa, which was my F1 visa. So as soon as you get this email from the consulate, you will be provided a link in which it states, it redirects you to this website where you will be given this form to fill. So this is basically a document submission form that you need to fill when you will be carrying your passport back to the VAC center in India. So you just need to fill some basic information like your name, your passport number, and are you submitting this document with your passport? If yes, you should just write Y here. And in this section, you could just tick this, which is which states passport requested for final visa processing. You just need to tick this, and that's it, nothing more. You just need to bring this page to the VAC, and also carry your passport. I would advise you to also carry this page that is being provided reviewed by the visa officer just for your safety. And yeah, visa application center is closed on Saturday and Sunday. So if you get a 221G, you need to submit it on any day between Monday to Friday. So just remember that. You could submit it from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So yeah, any time between these time periods. Make sure that you carry 2 pages of this document submission that you downloaded from the email that's being sent to you by the consulate, because one will be kept in the visa application center, and one will be given to you with the acknowledgement that they have received the documents, and they will now further process your application, or I think most probably they will just stamp your passport and send it to you. Either you could pick it at the at the same VAC, or you could if you have opted for premium delivery, you will be the passport will be delivered to your house directly. This is a post-passport submission update. I have received my passport back with the stamping. I submitted my passport on 21st of July, and my status on CEAC website changed to approved on 22nd of July, and it changed to issued on 23rd of July, and I received my passport back on 26th of July. So yeah, this was a brief update on my passport status and my visa stamping. So yeah, this was my whole experience and how the new social media vetting rule has changed the student visa and everything that's associated with it, including the document submission and everything. If you have any more doubt, you could just send me a message on LinkedIn. I am active on my LinkedIn, so if you have any questions, you could message me there. I will respond to you. You could also connect with me on LinkedIn. So hopefully you got to know about how the new social media vetting rule is actually how it's being implemented and how it's affecting your visa status and everything related to it. So yeah, see you in the next video. Bye.